and welcome back to the United Stand as Ruben Amorim already suffers an injury blow which could put his 3-4-3 system in jeopardy. Gonna get into that. Lisandro Martinez injury, is it worse than what we first expected? And why was he even travelling to Argentina if he wasn't fit? He needs to be fit and available for Manchester United. 3 centre-backs are needed in this system. Where does Amorim go from here if Lisandro Martinez is out for a little bit of time? Also, his message to the Manchester United players, the ones that he's already spoken to and seen in Carrington, he has a very clear message and it differs away from Erik ten Hag. Is this the fresh idea that Manchester United players have been needing to kick them into gear and to create a positive atmosphere within Manchester United? Could there be a shock move for Jarrad Branthwaite in January? Is he the centre-back that you'd want to go and get? Would he fit the Ruben Amorim system? Remember, Ruben Amorim does not have a transfer veto. Of course, he's going to want to approve transfers, but it will still be very much Ineos-led. Dan Ashworth loves Jarrad Branthwaite. Ineos loves Jarrad Branthwaite. He could be on the move from Everton. And also a little bit of talk surrounded Mason Mount and how he has been earmarked by Ruben Amorim, apparently, according to the news, as a very important player in his system. Could he reignite, basically kick off his Manchester United career under Ruben Amorim? Any other questions or comments you have, make sure you get them into the live chat. Any super chats, want to have your voice heard, get them in down below. Let's make the show interactive and welcome everybody to the show. First things first, how is it still the international break? I mean, England are playing tonight and I couldn't care less. Get me Ruben Amorim ball. Let me see Ruben Amorim ball kick off. I'm literally itching to see Manchester United play. Honestly, this international break, I would like to put it out there. It's friendlies. Why nobody cares? Who cares about this international break? Bring me back club football, especially. I was going through all the fixtures in December and the amount of fixtures that Manchester United have. If we didn't have this international break, it could be spread out a little bit more. And you know, I love the Christmas period. I love the Christmas fixtures, but I mean, this international break, it's so frustrating. But you know, it's nearly Friday now, and then we've got next week, and then we finally have Ruben Amorim ball. Who will be the starting centre-backs in that system, as it looks like Ruben Amorim is suffered a little bit of a blow with Lisandro Martinez. And let's get into that, because the Argentinian manager has been speaking about Lisandro Martinez. He's had to go home from the international break, and he was asked about Lisandro Martinez withdrawal from the squad, and he said, "We didn't expect the case of Lisandro. We saw that he had suffered a blow to his back, but apparently he had no problem, just pain. When he arrived here, the pain increased a bit. He underwent tests and he is not fit to be here." So basically what happened with Lisandro Martinez, he probably wanted to go and play for Argentina. We've seen, especially with South American countries, they take international duty very, very seriously. Lisandro Martinez probably had a little bit of pain for the Manchester United game, thought, I can get through this, it's going to be fine. Went over to Argentina, went to go and play for the Argentinian national team, suffered a little bit more pain, and their medics were probably like, you know, you need to get checked out, Lisandro. Then medics checked him over and thought, why on earth have you travelled here? You are not fit to be here. And he's had to return to Manchester United. First things first, this is a blow for Manchester United, because I honestly see Lisandro Martinez as one of the players that absolutely thrives under Ruben Amorim. I know there's been mixed thoughts about that, but him on the left side of that 3 centre-backs at the back, the way he can stride into the midfield, how good he is on the ball. We know he can play left-back as well, but left-sided centre-back in a back 3, I think suits him, fits him like a glove. So I wanted to see him kick off with Ruben Amorim, and he might not be fit enough to play at Ipswich. But second thing is, I thought our medical team was supposed to be improving and getting better. No wonder Ruben Amorim wants his own sports scientist brought over to Manchester United. That's one of the things, by the way, that Ruben Amorim is massively pushed for. His sports scientists from Sporting Lisbon to come over to Manchester United to see how fit the players are and to assess the Manchester United squad. You heard in his meetings, his early meetings with Manchester United, he was adamant about intensity. We need to get players with intensity. He wants his sports scientists to assess the squad. Why was Lisandro Martinez allowed to go and travel with Argentina? It sounds like, you know, the Argentinian manager, when he's speaking out, when Lisandro Martinez underwent these tests to check if he was fit or not, It sounds like he's like, why has he even travelled? Why has he been allowed to leave his club? Why haven't we thoroughly checked him over when he's obviously had some sort of knock and pain in his back before he's left to go to Manchester United? Why haven't we had that under control? And I know people will be like, Lisandro Martinez maybe should have, been a little bit more careful, but he's a player, he's going to want to play football. This is where your medical staff have to come in and have to make these decisions. Every player should be assessed, especially players like Lisandro Martinez, who have had injury problems in the past with Manchester United. I just read that quote and I was like, wow. It took the Argentinian national team medics to be like, hang on a second, you should not be here. And if you had have played, it could have set him back even further. If you play with an injury, it can make it 10 times worse. Luckily, they've done tests on Lisandro Martinez and they've prevented it before he's actually gone out there and played a game for Argentina, because it could have got even worse. But we're waiting now. When he comes back to Manchester United and he goes through, the tests with the Manchester United doctors and medics, how long he's going to be out for. And this is a blow for Ruben Amorim, and it's a blow for Manchester United, because it's not as if we're playing with a back four anymore. We're playing with a back three. And you have to have 3 centre-backs. And not only do you have to have 3 centre-backs, you're trying to find 3 centre-backs that can play the way Ruben Amorim wants to and push up and play that high line and are good on the ball. And you look through Manchester United centre-back ranks, Harry Maguire is injured still. We don't know when he's going to be back. Johnny Evans, absolutely class, but is he going to be able to play in that back three pushing up and pressing? And has he got the recovery pace? We know he's got the intelligence, but it's not ideal. Lenny Yoro hasn't played a minute so far this season. Okay, he's coming back, but you can't just throw him back into the deep end. And then you're looking at fullbacks potentially coming into that role. Luke Shaw, is he going to be fit? Left-sided centre-back, you'd see him stepping into that role, but you can't rely on him to be fit at all. I know Mark's spoken about Mazraoui potentially being on the right side of a back three. I don't personally see it, but that could be an option. But it's already looking thin. And then you think about injuries we're probably going to pick up over the Christmas period. I was looking, we've got a match every few days. Like, it is bang, bang, bang. And I'm not talking just, Barnsley in the League Cup. I'm talking Man City away, Arsenal away, Tottenham Hotspur away. We've got some tough games, and we've got a lot of games in this December period. You're already looking at a little bit of a depleted defence, and people might be like, Beth, you're over-exaggerating, it's just one injury. Lisandro Martinez is a really important player for us, and with the new system that Ruben Amorim's going to play with the 3 centre-backs, you need all the centre-backs you can get. So it'll be interesting, and I hope it is just a knock, but we don't know yet. And the fact he even travelled there in the first place is really frustrating, and it's something that Manchester United have let happen way too often. We need to put our foot down more in these situations, and we need to be stricter as a medical team on our players to make sure that the players have the least amount of chance of getting injured as possible. And if Lisandro Martinez was feeling any pain in his back whatsoever, the Manchester United medical team should have took him to one side, assessed him and said, you know what, Lisandro, stay here, do a bit of rehab, get to know the new manager. It's only friendlies in the international break. Let's just keep things as they are. And that's what should have happened. But of course, it didn't. And how many times have we seen this happen with Manchester United? We need to learn from past mistakes. A lot of people are commenting in the chat what centre-backs you would put in there. I mean, Ricky, I can already hear him saying, Beth, Victor Lindelof. Victor Lindelof is our best defender we've got. He's absolutely class on the ball. And of course, Victor Lindelof is an option. But do you see, to be fair, Ruben Amorim might like Victor Lindelof. I think he's played with him, I think, at Benfica, if I'm not wrong. No, I think he has played with him at Benfica. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong about that, but I'm sure I'd seen that somewhere. He knows Victor Lindelof from that Portuguese league. So Ruben Amorim might like him. But say Lisandro Martinez is injured, right? And you've got to field a back three for the Ipswich game. Luke Shaw's not going to play there because he's not played a minute. He can't start a game, even though Luke Shaw would be the ideal replacement as a left-sided centre-back for Lisandro Martinez. You've got De Ligt will definitely start. I'm 99.9% certain he will start. Yoro's not going to be able to start because he's not played a minute yet. You can't just start a game. You've got to get integrated back into the team. You've got to get minutes in your legs. Victor Lindelof would have to start, I think. and you've got Johnny Evans, you're looking at a back three of potentially Victor Lindelof, De Ligt and Johnny Evans. It's not exactly the ideal way that you'd want to kick off the Amorim era, is it? Them three centre-backs. It'll be, you know, it's like when Ollie, you know, had his team and everyone screenshotted that team sheet that was on Sky saying we were in the trenches. And that's no disrespect to any of them players. I think De Ligt has got a massive future here. I have the highest of respect for Johnny Evans. I think he's a class person. I think he's one of the only players that knows exactly what it takes to play for Manchester United. I think he's got a top mentality, and I think he stepped in and played through pain as well in tough times when other players have kind of avoided that. I have nothing but respect for Johnny Evans, but I don't think he's the type of player that Amorim's going to be like, you're going to be playing week in, week out. You can press really high. You know, you're going to be able to play multiple games in the space of a couple of weeks. It's not the future, is it? And then Victor Lindelof, he's got his strengths, but he's a squad player. In my opinion, he's a squad player. I think he's good on the ball. That suits Amorim. A little bit too weak for me. Maybe he'd suit a back three a little bit better. But he's not someone I would picture in the starting 11 for Manchester United. So you're already starting off on the back foot a little bit. And it makes you think, thank God we did sign both De Ligt and Yoro in the summer. Because people thought we were a bit heavy on the centre-backs, but it's looking like it was exactly the right investment because we already might be a little bit thin. Harry Maguire is someone I would picture playing in that back three, but he's still injured. I've not even seen him in the pictures with Ruben Amorim. So I don't know if he's actually... I actually know he posted a picture on the bike with Toby Collier, so he is in recovery, but he's not on the grass yet, so he won't be starting against Ipswich. So we're already a little bit thin on the ground in this new Amorim system that he's going to be bringing into play. Would you start Mazraoui on the right side of the centre-backs? Would you start Dalot? Get in the comments down below what you would do if Lisandro Martinez is not there. We've got super chat in from Lewis5696 saying Amorim needs to take control of this injury issue at United. Whether that means rotating players during games, it would benefit the team. Does he have the luxury of rotating players in games though? With the quality of the squad that we have, does he have that luxury? But like I said, there'll be a big reason why he's bringing in that sports scientist. Gavin says, don't be surprised with his first selection. Baldwin says, Evans is class. Keep him just in case there is an injury crisis. This is exactly why Evans is here. He's here to step in. And I agree, he's class. He's always going to give you 100% and his intelligence is there. It's just, you know, the physicality side of things. We know that Ruben Amorim's back three pushes up into the midfield. You're going to leave a gap in behind. But he has the intelligence to cover and be in the right place at the right time. Johnny Evans is not... I'm not worried about him stepping in. But I'm just saying we're already thin on the ground and that is slightly worrying. I mean, if Luke Shaw was actually fit on a consistent basis, I think he'd be excellent in a back three as a left-sided centre-back. But I can't even speak about him seriously because he's just never, ever fit. I think he'd actually suit left-sided centre-back in a back three rather than... Let me be careful with my wording here. The left-sided midfielder / winger. Goldbridge will lock me up and throw away the key if I say wing back again. Left-sided midfielder in the midfield. So Luke Shaw would be ideal, but he's just never fit, so you can't really take it seriously. And this brings me on to my next point of call. And my next point of call is Jarrad Branthwaite. Now hear me out. Jarrad Branthwaite, Manchester United wanted him in the summer. He was our first choice. Yoro was definitely a first choice as well. I think Man United were surprised with themselves when they managed to pull the Yoro deal off, if I'm being completely honest with you. It was a fantastic deal to get over the line, and that is one deal I will take my hat off to Ineos and be like, you smashed that. I know we paid a lot for Yoro, but he is a generational talent that Manchester United are investing heavily in for the future, and I think we can all see why. He is young, but he's still experienced at that age. He's got every attribute. I mean, people are saying when he stepped into training, they were like, wow, as if this kid is only 18. So fantastic to pull that Euro deal off, and I think we will definitely earn our money back in the future. But Jarrad Branthwaite was a first choice in the summer. It was a first choice because Lisandro Martinez has had previous injuries for Manchester United that you've got to watch out for. As much as I love Lisandro Martinez, and, you know, he starts for me, you can't just rely on one player. You've got to have squad depth. You've got to have reassurances. You can't have, you know, a team where you you're relying on that player to be fit. Lisandro Martinez is so important from distributing the ball from the back, his aggression, his leadership. He's a very, very important player for Manchester United. I know he didn't have the best start to the season, but we all know his quality and we all know how good he is. And I think he'll be a really important part in the Amorim system as well. He will take on that Inacio role from Sporting Lisbon, left-footed, gliding into the midfield and distributing the ball. It starts from him at the back. That's how I think it'll work. But Ineos wanted Jarrad Branthwaite because we were short on left-footed, left-sided centre-backs. Now, there is rumours that Jarrad Branthwaite has rejected contract proposals at Everton, and it was also reported that Everton can't afford to offer Jarrad Branthwaite a new contract as things stand, and with his new deal expiring in 2027, there may be a temptation to sell him sooner rather than later. I then seen that it's just a rumour, so we don't know how true it is, that Branthwaite has rejected contract offers. He wants to leave, and that's why Dyche hasn't been playing him as much, even when he returned from injury, because Everton want to try and lock him down, but Branthwaite doesn't want to sign a new contract because he wants to leave. Ineos love this player. They wanted him. They bidded for him. They did something we don't usually do. When Everton were asking for absolutely stupid money, they turned away and they said, no, thank you, we'll go and get Yoro and Delay instead. And I think that was absolutely the right decision at the time. Absolutely the right decision. We've got Yoro, who is generational talent, young centre-back here for the future. And we also, for cheaper than what we would have got Branthwaite for as well, even though it was expensive. And we also got Delay, I think, for a very good price off Bayern Munich. He's come in. I think he's actually been underrated so far. He's been solid. He's a leader, and I think he's only going to grow. When he was speaking to the media the other day, and he gave Joshua Zirkzee a shout-out for his cameo against Leicester, even though it was only a small portion of the game, he knew that Joshua Zirkzee needs the confidence, and he probably knew the criticism he'd been getting. He did come on and have a good cameo. I thought that was real leadership from De Ligt to come out and speak about him like that. So I'm very happy with them two centre-back signings, and I think it was the right decision to step away from that Branthwaite deal in the summer. But Branthwaite wants to leave. Everton probably do have to sell. Is that an area that Manchester United might explore in January? Would we have to wait to the summer for that sort of deal? Especially with this Ruben Amorim system, where you need three centre-backs, and Lisandro Martinez is our only left-footed centre-back that is here, is for the future of Manchester United. Jarrad Branthwaite is young. Ineos love him. Amorim doesn't have a transfer veto, so they'll be looking at very similar targets to they're looking at in the summer. Ineos and the Manchester United hierarchy will have their own list of players who they want for different positions. Of course, you'd expect them to run it by Ruben Amorim, but Jarrad Branthwaite is young. You know, we've spoken to him in the past. They obviously see a future for him at Manchester United. Could that be a road that Manchester United do go down? Because as much as I love Lisandro Martinez, he has had some injury scares at Manchester United in the past, and you can't just rely on one player. You've got to have depth. So it's interesting. And when you look at the rest of our centre-back options, Lindelof is, I think, 30. Maybe, is he touching 30 or 30? Harry Maguire's 31, potentially. You know, these two players, they're squad players for Manchester United. I think Harry Maguire has a contract that runs out in the summer. I think Victor Lindelof has a contract that runs out in the summer. They're two centre-backs that could be leaving Manchester United. If you were going to invest that money into another centre-back, it would be in a left-footed centre-back, wouldn't it? Because you have Yoro and De Ligt as right-footed centre-backs. So Jarrad Branthwaite is definitely one to keep an eye on, and one that I was thinking about today. Would you want to go and do that deal? And how much would you be prepared to pay for Jarrad Branthwaite? Because I think Everton would have to lower their price, but I still think they'd want to play hardball and get a good fee for him, considering that he is English and, you know, he's playing in the Premier League. That's how it works. So I would expect Johnny Evans to probably move on as well at the end of next season. Lindelof's probably going to move on. Harry Maguire, depending on how he works in this back three, that he could thrive in it. He might be kept around by Ruben Amorim as a squad player. You know, we know he's got a good mentality. We know he's suited a back three in the past. He could be there, but you'd still need to go and invest into another centre-back. The only centre-backs we have at this current moment in time where you're like absolutely nailed on part of the future, Martinez, De Ligt and Yoro. So, you know, when Amorim's playing a back three, you're going to need more. And Jarrad Branthwaite is definitely someone that Ineos have liked in the past, and we would want to go for a left-footed centre-back. And Everton need to sell, and is refusing to sign a contract. If you join up the dots, I don't think the story's over between Manchester United and Jarrad Branthwaite. We've got some chats coming in. Udo says 10 million for Jarrad Branthwaite. Let's go. I mean, it's absolutely not going to happen. One thing that would worry me about Branthwaite a little bit is he has had a few injury problems, and I want to stay away from injury-prone players. I don't know if it's just been luck. I'd have to look into it a little bit more, but he has suffered a couple of injuries, I think, at Everton, which when a player's had a couple of injuries, it always scares me because of the issues that we've had. Because we've had players that have never been injured before in their life. They come to Manchester United and suddenly they're injured again. Euro hadn't even had an injury, I don't think, before for Manchester... not for Manchester United, sorry. Hadn't had an injury before in his professional career. Comes to Manchester United and suddenly he gets a massive injury. So you've got to be careful about them. A fair price for Jarrad Branthwaite, I think, would be around 45 million. I don't... Everton fans will laugh at me and laugh me out of the room for that. But I think that is a fair price considering the situation. I honestly do think it would be a good price, that, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Anyway, let's move on to the next little bit of the show. So, Amorim's message to Manchester United players. So, apparently, Ruben Amorim has been very big straight away at Manchester United in positivity, and obviously he wants to win, and he's there to win, but you've got to figure out how to get the best out of your players. And his message is, we have to have fun while we're doing this. We have to have fun as a group. We have to have fun as a team. And basically, the team has got to be together and you've got to enjoy it. And I think that's something that was lacking under Erik ten Hag. I think there wasn't as much joy around the place as what there should have been. And now, don't get me wrong, we're not in a situation where it's just like everyone's happy. You know, we're losing here, we're drawing here, we're underperforming. Of course, the mood and atmosphere is going to be low and the morale is going to be low with the results that Manchester United have had. Of course. And, you know, you've got to be serious. You've got to be a winner. I saw Nemanja Vidic's quotes earlier on today, and I know Mark went over them, so I won't go over them again, but he's absolutely right. I don't think we've had the right attitude in the changing rooms, in the dressing room. I do think, you know, we need more characters in that dressing room. I do think a lot of the players have let Erik ten Hag down. But I think a reason why Erik ten Hag did fail at Manchester United in the end is because I don't think he had the full dressing room together. I think, of course, they went out there and they fought for him and they wanted to win. And I don't think players, you know, went on the pitch and didn't put in effort. But I just think the mood around the squad, from what I've heard as well, the mood around the squad, the mood in and around Carrington was very, very low. It was very serious, and I don't think the players properly bought into him. Whereas Ruben Amorim, he's known for his charisma. He said he's been I know Ten Hag's been a player before as well, but Ruben Amorim's been a player before. He's been in dressing rooms. He knows how to approach players, speak to players. His players absolutely love him. Look at Sporting, the way he was getting lifted into the air. At Braga, the same thing. Players absolutely love him, and that's the first step. Because if you love someone, you respect someone, you are going to give your absolute all for them. So Ruben Amorim, what he's got to be is a master in getting the best out of these players and getting them to love him and respect him. And then he'll get the maximum effort out of them as well. And the players have nowhere to hide now because everybody's seen publicly how successful Ruben Amorim's been at Sporting, how much the players loved him. And that'll be a big, big factor in the results he got. Even at the end, when they knew he was leaving midway through a season. They were 2-0 down, I think, in his last game against Braga. They came back on 1-4-2. You don't do that as a team unless you are giving everything and fighting tooth and nail for your manager who's about to leave. And they could have given up on him and they didn't. That's how much he had the respect of his players, and he's got to gain that from the Manchester United players. This is a Manchester United squad, and I'm not saying any names because I don't think it's name specific. This is just a culture at Manchester United where we've had managers come in, they get a buzz, then the players drop off and the cycle continues. I don't think it's anybody in particular. I don't think there's a virus. I just think the whole club, it's its culture. I don't think there's a ruthless winning mentality running through that club. Ruben Amorim will have to instill that. It can't be a one-man job. I know Erik ten Hag tried to. I think he maybe if he looks back, he potentially went about it in the wrong way, considering the situation we're in. But he has to bring in characters. He has to bring in players with that elite mentality that are going to back him in there, and he's got to get the players on his side. And people will say, you know, he's the boss, but the players have to go out there and do the business. So how Ruben Amorim approaches it, I think, will be in a very positive way in getting the players on board with him, and that's how you can get the best out of him. As much as I feel for Ten Hag, because I definitely don't think it was all on him, I think where Ruben Amorim has to be a lot different, and we said that with the new manager, is he has to have that personality. He has to connect with the players. Man management is absolutely massive, and I think he's already started off on the right foot. How long will that last? Have we seen this story before? I seen a tweet earlier this week and I could absolutely relate to it. And it was, if it don't work out this time, I'm packing up my stuff, I'm moving to Barbados and I'm packing in football. That's how I feel with Ruben Amorim. This is my last shred of hope. And I'm 23 years old. I have been through it. I have been through it as a Manchester United fan. But it just feels like this is my last shred of hope. If it doesn't work with Ruben Amorim, where do we go from here? Because nobody's been able to be successful since Sir Alex Ferguson, but the whole club needs completely stripping top to bottom, and I do think Ineos are planning to do that with Ruben Amorim, which is why all Ten Hag's coaches straight away gone. Ruud van Nistelrooy sentimentality gone, and players will come next. Players who don't fit the Amorim system and don't live up to what we need, mentality, intensity-wise, they'll be next as well, and Ineos have got to put the foot down on that. Whether it's money or whatever gets in the way, they've got to do what they've got to do. Last little bit that I wanted to talk about is, this was in the article by The Mirror, and I don't know if it's just a little bit of guesswork or if there's actually any reliable source to back this up, but apparently Ruben Amorim has already said to have made some early judgments on his squad. Mason Mount has been earmarked for a significant role under Ruben Amorim despite his difficult time since joining from Chelsea. The Portuguese coach admires Mount's versatility, which could prove beneficial with Amorim expected to deploy the same 3-4-3 shape. Not every player seems to have fared as well, however, and then it talks about how Joshua Zirkzee might be surplus to requirements because of his profile. But we've spoken about Zirkzee loads. We can say that for another show. Quickly on Mason Mount. I think Mason Mount has his best opportunity to be successful at Manchester United under this Amorim system. Fits it like a glove. Amorim's 10s, the ones that play in behind, typically very intense. We know Mount's pressing is absolutely fantastic. Workhorses, we know Mount's a workhorse. Technically good on the ball, we know Mason Mount provides that. Not only that, he's got the CV to back it up. That's the role he impressed in the most in his career at Chelsea when they were winning Champions League, and were competing. Mason Mount is a fantastic player, and he fits that role. It's whether he can stay fit. And so far at Manchester United, it's not looked good. So instead of saying, you know, Mason Mount could be this, he could be that, I think anybody who's watched Mason Mount before and knows his profile knows how big of an opportunity this is for him. And if I'm Mason Mount, I'm thinking, this is my time. This is my time to shine. I've got the number 7 on my back. This is time to make a fresh start. But he's got to stay fit, and I'll be doing everything in my power to make that happen. If Ruben Amorim comes in, because Mason Mount is fit currently, isn't he? Unless he, you know, blows over in the wind and suffers another injury at some point this week. He's fit currently. That game against Ipswich, he has to be fit. And then for me, Mason Mount, if he wants any chance, he's got to be fit for the first 10 games at least of Ruben Amorim. At least. Because the second he gets injured again, it's just going to be same old story, back to the start. And by that time, somebody else is coming and taking your place in the team, and everyone's just frustrated, and it's back to square one. So, yeah, it's at the moment it's hopes and dreams for me. I would love it to happen. You'd like to get that investment you invested into him back, 60 million. And Ruben Amorim will have looked at him out and thought, yeah, he's a bit of me for my system. Not he's a bit of me. It's he's a bit of me for my system. You know, he suits the way I want to play. It's just fitness. And that's where Ruben Amorim, sports scientist, needs to come in and assess the players. But look, everyone, that is the show I've got for you today. So many people get frustrated whenever I talk about whenever I talk about Mason Mount. It's the news, everyone. It's the news. I'm not being paid off. Don't worry about that. A lot of people don't have much faith in Mason Mount, and I can understand it. And it's something he has to prove to the Manchester United fans, because I was very excited for that player, and even I've given up on it. Like, I feel like he's gone into the same category as Luke Shaw, that category. But Mason Mount's never even played a successful amount of games for Manchester United, as much as I think he could be successful in this system. He's really got to take this opportunity, grab it with both hands and try and keep his fitness up. But the way he plays, it's with such intensity. You'd like to think at this age he has a chance. He's only 24, 25, I think. Like, he has a chance, and hopefully under Amorim he can spark a revival at Manchester United. But look, everyone, it's nearly Friday tomorrow. First weekend without football. Sorry, is it first weekend without football? Second weekend without football? Anyway, international break's nearly over. England's on tonight. Mark will be covering it on That's Football. Honestly, these friendlies are absolutely just not even... I don't even take any notice of them. I just cannot wait for Ruben Amorim to be in and get going. But look, I'm just trying to see if there's any chats before I come in. Yeah, a lot of people saying if it doesn't work with Amorim, they're coming with me to Barbados. Look, everyone, we'll get the plane sorted, get the plane ticket sorted, and we'll head over there. It has to work. It has to work. But look, everyone, it's Friday tomorrow, nearly end of the week, nearly Ruben Amorim ball time. Hopefully, we'll get an interview from Ruben Amorim very soon as well. Please make sure you hit a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Get in the comments down below. Centre backs, are you worried? Who would you bring in to be a backup to Lisandro Martinez, or who would you bring in to be our next left-footed centre-back at Manchester United? I think we definitely need to go into that market and explore that market when the next opportunity arises, whether that be January or the summer. We need to bring in a left-footed, left-sided centre-back, I feel like, to help bring up the squad and give that squad depth. Who would you go for? Would you want to go for a Sporting player? Do you like the look of Jarrad Branthwaite? Get your suggestions in the comments. Do you think Mount will start ahead of a Bruno or an Ahmad in that 3-4-3 system for Ruben Amorim? Apparently he likes the player. Let me know all your thoughts down below. Have a lovely rest of your day. Mark will be back for the 7 p.m. show on the United Stand, and thank you for watching, everyone.